You're welcome back. This is Signature Morning on Signature Television. But we're moving ahead to another segment discussing curbing the proliferation of small arms in Southeast and the challenges and strategies. So we have a guest right here in the studio, retired Major General Okechukwu Ugo, Southeast Zonal Coordinator, National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Welcome, comrade.
Thank you.
Major General.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Belinda.
Okay, so
Yes.
talking about proliferation and all of that. So, what is the current, state of small arms and small arms proliferation in Southeast right now?
Well, thank you for having me in your show this morning, and good morning, viewers. I want to start by telling you that the issue of proliferation of small arms and light weapons is a very serious matter, not just in the southeast of Nigeria, but globally. As you may know, the world had the unfortunate experience of going through two world wars in the last century, World War One, World War Two, and after that we had the Cold War. All these necessitated or made the production of small arms and light weapons very necessary for the to cope or to execute these wars. And after the wars, these arms were flying all over, and this in fact led to the establishment of the United Nations, and they proclaimed that there was need to stop wars around the country. And how do you stop wars? Is to stop the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, which were enablers for people to execute these wars. And the UN set up protocols, what we call the United Nations Program of Action. We have the Arms Trade Treaty, you have the International Tracking System, all aimed at minimizing the illicit movement of arms around the globe. In the African level, the African Union has also stepped in to play their part. We have what we call the Nairobi Declaration of 2006, where the African Union came up with a program to regulate this movement of arms in Africa. Coming down to West Africa, the same thing. ECOWAS has also stepped in at their level, and there's what we call the ECOWAS Convention on small arms and light weapons, where all the 15 member states of ECOWAS are mandated to set up commissions or centers to collaborate and cooperate with a view to regulating the movement of arms around the sub-region. And so that's why we're here today. Over the years, efforts have been made in line with the ECOWAS Convention I mentioned to have this center up and running. During the Obasanjo regime, we had what we call the NATCOM, that's the National Commission that was mandated to execute this task, but it didn't go very effectively well. And then in the Goodluck Jonathan administration, we had the Presidential Committee that was also set up to go on and do this task. That committee met randomly because as a committee, it wasn't really an organized center. So all they were doing was to meet from time to time to discuss issues about this scourge of proliferation of small arms and light weapons. The committee too wasn't efficient enough because one, they didn't have the backing of the National Assembly. There was no law, guiding their job, and this led to in the year 2021 under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. In May, exactly on the 3rd of May 2021, the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons was officially set up by presidential order. Following that order, a bill was sent to the National Assembly, and the House of Reps and the Senate, they discussed it, and there was concurrence. The bill was passed, and then luckily, and we must commend the president of today, that's President Tinubu, who has signed into law the bill. So we have an act today that is legally authorizing us to do what we're supposed to do. And so the center is now has come to stay and to do its job, and we're doing it.
So, what are the root causes? Let's talk about the root causes. What do you identify as the drivers of arms proliferation in this region?
Yeah, of course, because of the urge, or people generally may not trust the government to protect them enough. So there's this urge by individuals to go procuring arms illegally for self-defense. But this is wrong, because basically the operation of arms, you require a lot of training to be able to operate arms properly. You may think you're helping yourself by acquiring the arm for your immediate defense, but in the long run, what you think is for your own defense might become a problem to you and your family, because if you're not able to handle it properly, there's what we call it may be you. In the Nigerian Defense Academy, when we're trained, if you have an arm and you don't handle it well, it becomes a problem to you and your neighbors. So, and that's why we're saying that people who are not trained to have these arms should not have them. So, to answer your question, people who want to get rich quick, who want to go against the law, if you have grievances, there are laid down ways of, approaching your grievances. You have elected people in the National Assembly. You have governors. You have all kinds of architecture to, vent your anger instead of you taking laws into your hand. So, basically, people who want to get what does not belong to them, first of all, like armed robbers, like you see kidnapping, you see ransom taking, all of them are looking for arms for all these illicit jobs and criminality that they do.
We are seeing currently, even in Anambra and other parts of the country, other states, killings of many thousands, hundreds every day. We see the numbers, we count them even on our daily newspapers. Yeah, and of course I know that most of these killings are kind of related to armed proliferation in those states. But I'm just wondering, what are the biggest, challenges that, the law enforcement agency is facing now, in controlling the spread of these small arms in those locations?
Yeah, the point is the small arms, like the name implies, they're very portable. They can easily be moved from point A to point B. Somebody can, call it stripping and assembly. They can strip an AK-47 and carry it in your handbag. And somebody who is not cautious enough, who is not careful enough, will not know. So one of the challenges faced by security agencies is, being careful or having the necessary equipment to search, vehicles, search people as they move, and the technology too, because it's not easy to search everybody on the road. So we're asking for, the procurement of necessary technology to be able to know where there are metal detectors in vehicles, instead of having to, subject people to all kinds of hardship on the road. Metal detectors are better to identify where there's a weapon. So the challenges include inability to have the adequate technological equipment to search and get these weapons,
Right, but again, we've also noticed that sometimes when the police or the law enforcement agencies go against these armed robbers, they tend to kill them, maim them, and then sometimes they drop their weapons, and then, these police officers and law enforcement agencies take those arms, and it's not accounted for.
Sure.
Is the center part, is the modus operandi of the center part of, what you guys do?
Exactly. This is one good point. Thank you for raising this. We are collaborating with all security agencies, not just the police, because even the correctional services, even Nigerian Army, many of them, most of them, if all of them, are involved in internal security operations today. And so they go after these criminals, they apprehend them, and at the end of the day, they are handed over to police for prosecution. The cases are disposed of, and these weapons lie down in their armories. And over the years, somehow, because we have unscrupulous elements within the system, they go again and take these weapons, and somehow the weapons get recycled into the society, causing us more trouble. So our center is here to mop up those weapons from the security agencies after these cases have been disposed of. Recently, I'm sure you must have heard the seizure of over 844 weapons at the Onne Seaport in Port Harcourt. That was done by the Customs Service, and the weapons have been handed over to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms for investigation and prosecution of those who were involved. So all those kind of illicit weapons, at the end of the day, should be handed over to us. We have the mandate to either destroy them, or where we think they are still useful, we will get normal or relevant clearance from the National Security Advisor, who can, order with the directives from Mr. President for such weapons to be reissued and documented properly, so that at the end of the day, we know where weapons are and not just lying somewhere and being pilfered and returned to these criminal elements. So this is part of what we're doing.
We have people out there who are not even educated, young men and ladies out there who are not educated enough to even, if you see them, you know that they can't even go as far as going to where they can purchase the small arms. And then I'm just wondering, how do they, get their hands on these arms?
Yeah.
How do you guys, regulate the store, or regulates the place of purchase on how these things are being dispatched to individuals?
Thank you very much. Like I told you, the act has just been signed into law, and the act mandates us to even regulate the sale of arms within Nigeria. Even those who have the license, who are authorized legally to sell arms to people. Our center has been mandated to regulate these activities in a way that we are mandated to go and inspect their stores. How do you store, even if you have the license, how do you store the weapons you're selling? Who do you sell to? You cannot even sell to just anybody. For you to sell a weapon to someone, you must also have a license from the IG or police who does this on behalf of the president. So, and then, or to a registered private security organization who must be licensed also. So this is part of what we're doing, is a holistic approach to ensure that weapons are not just, trafficked around the place. So when we fully get on board, as we have mapped out our strategies to move into the society, those arms dealers, we're going to reach out to them. In fact, we're inviting them for a seminar very soon where they'll be sensitized about what we're about to do, so that it will not take them by surprise. And then they're supposed to give us returns of what they have bought, who they sold to regularly, so that we'll keep track of these. And we're supposed to have a database. At the end of the day, in the National Center in Abuja, the computer, you can just punch a button and it gives you total number of arms in Nigeria. So this is where we're heading to.
Two key questions. The first one is, how does our porous border affect the proliferation of arms into Nigeria?
Sure.
That's one. Two, how should the public, the general public, deal with a center like this, given that it's a new, center? Like, what is the relationship between the organization and the public? Should there be a role of the public in helping or your
of course. The issue of the borders we have in Nigeria, let me start from there, is a big problem. Of course, Nigeria is a very large country, covering about 923,000 square kilometers. We have a borderline, especially with the up north there with Niger Republic. We have up to 1,400 and something kilometers of borderline, another 500 or 600 with Cameroon, and another long length with Benin Republic. So, and most of these borders are not properly manned. So it's a challenge, and that is why in our center, in the structure of our center, we'll have the Border Control Directorate that is supposed to relate with our Customs Service and our Immigration Service, who are presently manning our borders, to collaborate with them and focus more on these illicit arms and small arms and light weapons. And then further to that, we have what we call the international tracking system, where going forward, all weapons in every country will be marked. So that when you have all weapons in Nigeria will be marked, with NG, which signifies Nigeria, stroke some numbers that will be there. So any weapon you see bearing NG, you just know immediately it's from Nigeria. And the same thing for Benin Republic, it could be BN, like that. So this will help us to know when weapons have moved from one country to the other. And then we can raise an alarm that this is happening too much. We'll call that country, please check your system. We have also number, we have also weapon with this number that we believe is from you. And same way, if because we participate in international peacekeeping operations around the world, if our soldiers or our airmen or policemen go for international peacekeeping operations and their weapons get lost because they could be ambushed or something, it could be in operations, weapons could get lost. With those numbers, wherever in the world, anybody who picks it up will know that this belongs to Nigeria, and they will find a way to return it to us. So these are ways we are mapping out to, restrict this cross-border movement, in addition to physical work they do at the border. Please remind me the second question you asked, the populace.
Yeah.
Yes, we are doing a lot of sensitization with because like I told you, it's not a task for just the center. Security is everybody's business. So we're doing a lot of awareness campaigns with civil society organizations, with the traditional rulers, with students, even to NYSC camps. We go to orientation camps to talk to them. Because if you see a wrong thing and you don't report, in the end, it might boomerang to your community or to all of us. So we encourage people to give us information. Even if you can't get to a center directly, go to the nearest security organization near you and report. If you notice that somebody is dealing in arms illegally, it's your duty to make such reports, and we'll take it off from there. And let me use this opportunity to assure any member of the society who brings such information that his security will be highly protected, because this is what is done in utmost confidentiality. So we encourage people to support us. We've received massive support from all security agencies, Army, Police, DSS, and we're asking for the same from the general public.
Just two questions before we wrap up. Nigerian youths, they are getting innovative right now. Even in universities, they are producing alternative bombs. We heard from one of the newspapers just last week of alternative bombing somewhere. So is there a way you are collaborating with education or with the public institutions in making sure that they don't produce illegal small arms? Secondly, what other roles? You've talked about the things you are doing already, your organization is doing. So what other strategies are you putting in place to make sure that these illegal arms proliferation is curbed or reduced?
Okay, thank you. On the students or young people who generally are into this arms production, we have put out notice or information that instead of you to be producing arms and you're selling it to people who might turn around and kill you yourself. Because if you're selling arms illegally, the man you're selling it to, you don't know the day he comes to your community, you don't know who he's going to use it against. It could be your brother, it could be your wife, it could be your family. So there's a policy of the federal government today that if you have such a skill set and you can produce arms, come forward. The country is ready to employ you and use your skill positively.
Has it ever been done before?
Yeah, we're working on this. We're gathering the data, and then but most of them, they think they're going to be prosecuted or dealt with. They are going underground. But let me use this opportunity to assure them again that the nation means well. Instead of you to be doing this and be hiding and killing your brother and killing your community, you come forward with your skill set, and once we see that yes, you're good in it, we give you a good employment. The defense industries in corporation in Kaduna is ready. We have discussed with them. They're willing. We're looking for people to help Nigeria grow. Instead of us spending the little foreign exchange you have, going to buy from other countries, if we have people who have such skill, come and the nation will pay you for that, and you'll be happier that you're producing for your country. So that's what we're doing to discourage people from going underground and doing these things. And then we've been going out there to do a lot of advocacy that Nigeria cannot develop like this if you continue to empower non-state actors who cause us trouble. The money that the federal government or the state government would have used to build roads, they use them to buy military weapons, to be fighting insurgents and terrorists. So we're indirectly harming ourselves. So we encourage them to please come forward, and we will employ them, and Nigeria will be better for it. Sorry, what was the second question? Sorry.
I think you've already used one stone to kill two birds. Okay, I think because of time, we'll have to let it here, but we'll also be, engaging you more often to know how.
Let me just end by saying that the center is up and running. Our headquarters is domiciled in the Office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. And presently we have 6 zonal offices, one in each zone. The office for the Southeast Zone is here in Enugu, which I'm privileged to head right now. And then we'll have the one in the Northwest is in Kaduna. The one of the North Central is in Minna. The one of the Northeast is in Maiduguri. The one of the South South is in Calabar, while the one of Southwest is in Ado-Ekiti. There are plans to expand with time. We're going to have state offices. We're going to have even up to local government offices. So it's a center that is even going to create employment for our youth, and help to increase economic activities where we are, And this is a very good thing, and it's in consonance with global best practices. Nigeria cannot be lagging behind. And like I said, it's a global challenge. So all nations need to come together to fight this, and Nigeria cannot be left, out
behind.
of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Major General Okechukwu Ugo. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, this is it on today's edition. We'll be going for a quick break, and Charles.
All right. I think we've finished on the morning show today. We're connecting back to our station in Abuja for other conversations as it relates to politics, education, and even sports. Do stay with us.
All right.